It got sent about 10 minutes ago. Check your inboxes if you didn't see it yet. And if you guys can just make sure that that link is open and ready to go, that will help keep us efficient today.
And we're live, so you know.
Okay, awesome. All right, everyone, we're just going to give it a moment till we've got all 21 voting board members here, and then we will go ahead and get started. And I think that we're just missing one. Yeah, Cody.
Just a question. Is this form, is it gonna clear itself every time? Or I don't understand how it's gonna work, or do we clear it ourselves?
So I'll walk through the instructions. We're going to do one test vote before we start any voting to make sure there's no issues. But once you submit the form, Cody, there's an option. It'll say submit another response. And so you'll submit and then you'll click that button and it'll reset it for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Kim.
Yeah. Okay, I see 25 of us. And I think that that is the number we're looking for. So I'm just going to confirm that we've got everyone here. And it looks like we do. Fantastic. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. We are going to go ahead and dive right in because we got a lot to get through today. So our agenda for the day, we're going to quickly approve the meeting minutes from meeting 14. And then we'll go through the final vote rules and process. We want to make sure everything's crystal clear, that if you guys have any questions, we're answering them. And then we're going to take the whole board through a test vote to make sure that the process makes sense, that you guys see how it all is going to work in action. And then once that is complete, we're going to dive in. We have 149 sections to vote on today. And so we're going to try to get through all of them in our 5 hours. We have 2 5-minute breaks scheduled in the meeting so you guys can have a chance to get up, stretch your legs, use the restroom. And if we end early, awesome. We get to all leave early. So I don't think I would anticipate that, but if we get through all of this quickly, we can go ahead and definitely do that. So I will pause here and see if we can get a motion to approve meeting 14 meeting minutes.
I move for approval.
Second, this is Kevin. Second.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Kevin. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And any opposed, please say aye. Okay, meeting minutes are approved. Thank you, guys. So let's talk about how we're going to work through our meeting today. So our process is going to go like this. We will go section by section, and I have a couple example slides to help you guys understand how we're delineating the sections. The entirety of the section that we're going to vote on will be on the slide that you will see. And then we'll go to board member comment. I'll ask if any board members have a comment that they'd like to share for a proposal. Everyone who raises their hands will get 25 seconds to speak. And then we will do any board members who want to speak against a proposal. And we will do, again, 25 seconds for everyone who has their hands raised. We'll talk more about the rules and a little bit more specifics on that in a bit. Then we'll vote, then we'll tally the votes, and then we will know at the end of each vote what passed and what didn't. So looking at the rule or the sections that we're going to take on. Ron was asking this question ahead of the meeting. So I just thought I'd clarify for everyone. The state statute says that we need to vote on this code element by element. And so our team tried our best to figure out and define what that element is. So for every section that has a bolded section header, we will vote on it individually. So in this case, we would have 2 votes, one for this first part and one for the second part because it has a bolded section header. Looking at this next example, if there's a section that has the bolded section header and then numbers beneath it, that will all be the whole of that section will be considered one vote. And then if there are any exceptions that align themselves with the section, those will be considered with the section itself. So we won't vote on exceptions separately. So that's how the sections are going to be organized. Now moving on to comment. So this is the last minute change that we made to our process, where each board member will have 25 seconds to speak. Yes, Elizabeth.
Sorry, I just had a quick question. Are we also voting on definitions?
We are.
Okay, thanks.
I will, again, we'll present the code language. I'll say, if you want to speak, please raise your hand. This will not be an opportunity to react to what another board member has said. So if you want to comment, your comment will live on its own, standing on its own. I will ask for all hands to be raised for the comments at the start. If your hand is not raised by the time the first comment starts, we will not accept your comment. And I hate to be non-judicious in this, but it's really to save us all the headache and hopefully get us all out of here by 5. I will also say I'll be setting a timer for 25 seconds. If you hit the end of your 25 seconds and you have to finish your sentence, by all means, do not start another sentence once your 25 seconds is up, or I will be forced to mute you, and I don't want to do that. So, Tim, I see you have a question.
Yeah, thank you. If someone has a comment that's going to be the same comment for 2, 3, or 4 times for the same sections and different parts of the code, and it takes a little bit longer the first time around than 25 seconds, can that you override, go over that and just say, I'm going to say the same thing 4 times, so I'm only going to say it once, which will save time.
I would say, Tim, if it's possible, please try to keep it to the 30 seconds. In that case, I could maybe allow a little bit of flexibility, but I do just want to make sure that I'm enforcing the same rules for everybody. So if that means you have to open up raise your hand and say a 5-second, I'm repeating what I said last time. I think I just want to make sure that we're being fair for everyone. So that's okay. I think that's what we'll plan to do. All righty. Any other questions on this? So how this is going to work is once comments have been heard, we will vote. So I am going to ask that all of you guys have the Google form open. That's the most important thing to have up on your screen today, including my shared screen. So you'll see in the form, and hopefully you guys were able to take a look at the test form, that we need your first name, we need the section header, and we need your vote. You will be able to select one of the 3 options for your vote, and those options are yes, no, or abstain. And this is what those votes mean. If you vote yes, a yes vote means I, board member, approve this code section as written for inclusion in the model electric and solar ready code. A no vote means I, board member, do not approve this code section as written for inclusion in the model electric and solar ready code. And an abstain vote means to abstain, I, board member, do not want to submit a vote for this section of the model electric and solar ready code. Okay. So this is what the form looks like. Again, you'll put your name in, you'll write the code section number, you'll click your vote, and you'll hit submit. You'll then be taken to a page that looks like this, where it says your response has been recorded, and you will click submit another response. And you're going to do this all day. Just enter, submit, enter, submit. And I apologize in advance that it'll just be a little bit tedious. So when everybody shares, I will be sharing a Google Sheet that where all of the votes will automatically come in. And so you'll be able to see once you've hit submit that your name has populated into the spreadsheet here. We're going to ask that all Google form votes get submitted first. And then we have 2 board members today that'll be voting verbally. And so once I've tracked 19 votes in this spreadsheet, I'll ask our 2 board members voting verbally to unmute, give us their vote. We will log those live for you guys to see. And then within our spreadsheet, there's an equation set up that will automatically calculate the total yes votes, no votes, and abstain votes. So we will know at the end of each code vote how the code vote went. And we'll announce the results. This is an example of what that sheet will look like when all of the votes come in. Carolyn.
Yeah, just I was wondering if it's possible, Kim, to swap the order and have the against speak first. just saying that might save us time, because if nobody's speaking against, we may limit how many people feel like they need to speak for.
Sure, I think that would make sense. Can I see some general head nods if the board agrees with that process? Cool, I'm seeing general head nods from the folks I can see. Cool.
Good idea.
Let's do
Thank
it. Thanks, Carolyn. All right, so how the votes will pass. A vote must receive 14 votes to be included in the model electric and solar ready code. And then this is sort of some important next steps as far as what happens if something receives a no vote. So for any section that does not receive 14 votes, which is our 2/3 majority, that section will be sent to the executive committee. Approval of any code section that fails to receive the 2/3 vote will require a majority vote of the executive committee to be included in the final code. As a reminder, our executive committee members are Will Torr or his designee, Rick Garcia or his designee, Brad Smith, Ron Flax, and Tim Pate. And I will just say, we have been very, very focused on making sure that all of this process has run smoothly. So we, beyond what we've got here, we don't, quite have the voting process or whatnot down for the executive committee. But we will obviously figure all of that out and work with the committee to make sure that it makes sense when we get to that point. Carolyn.
I was curious about a clarification. They will have the opportunity to edit it, will they not, to make it pass if they need to? Like, at some point, you have to have a section that exists.
Adam, can you hop in here? Because I think you've had more chance to speak with legal on this one.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the intent is that the executive committee will try to see if they can get it through as it was originally proposed. If not, and it's something that has to be in the code, then yes, they will be able to do that. But I would also note that obviously, of course, all 5 members of the executive committee are board members. The discussion will certainly take into account the discussions that were had by the full board, so that it won't be just the executive committee going through an overriding board will. But yes, there's a possibility that provisions would need to be changed if it's something that has to be in the code.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam. Okay, so what we're going to do is test out the vote with everybody. So I am going to stop sharing my screen and I will reshare with the way the screen will look for the remainder of today. Okay, so this is how my screen is going to look for the rest of the day. I'm going to have the slide over here and everybody's live votes pulling in this Google Sheet here. So everybody go navigate over to your Google form submission. And fill in the first box with your name. First name is fine. Actually, maybe is preferred so we can save time. For the second, excuse me, the second section in your form, you are going to include the big bolded text at the top of the slide. So that might be a section number. In some cases, it's definition 1, definition 2. In some cases, it's, for the sections that didn't have numbers, we had to get creative. So just bear with us. But for the most part, it is the section number. Okay. And then you will click do you want to approve? And then hit submit. And as you guys can see, all of your answers are populating in here. They populate quite quickly, which is fantastic. Please do not exit your form. Please hit submit another response to bring up the blank form again. Adam?
Just wanted to note too that you can't see it in this example, but obviously many of the sections also have letters and numbers. So like RS101 or CV101. So it includes the letters too. If just whatever's at the top, include all of it, including letters and numbers.
And thanks, Adam. And Ron brought this up ahead of the meeting. I do also want you guys to know our whole Lotus team is in this document, making sure that it is clean and QC'd. If you mess up a number, if you've got, if your numbers or letters get mixed up in any way, do not worry. If your vote was submitted in time with the votes we just did, we will make that correction in our spreadsheet to fix it to the right section number. Okay, so I see we have our 19 submissions. Thank you, everyone. So now I'm going to go ahead and call for a verbal vote. Rob, if you can unmute and please give us your vote.
Present.
Thank you. Chris, same to you.
Yes.
Fantastic. So as you can see, our team here will be adding that in. Once, oops, we're just making sure that these these equations work. Thank you. This is for your patience. This is also just a test for our team. Make sure we got it. And Allie, I would just make sure to add 2 rows at a time. Cool. All right. So then we will see here. This is not grabbing everything correctly. 52, D2. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Thanks for bearing with us as we make sure. Now the equations will be set up for the rest of the time. So we have 21 votes we received. We have 15 yes, 1 no, 5 abstain. This test proposal passes. Okay, make sense? Everyone feel comfortable with where we're going today?
Great.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. And so with that, we will go ahead and get started. And I apologize, my Zoom deleted my timer today. So I'm going to be timing on my phone until the break when I can re-download it. I don't know what happened. So this was a second test vote. I don't think we need it. I think we're ready to roll. Again, I will just emphasize we have 150 sections to vote on today. If you have a comment you would like to give, please be thoughtful of your board members and their time. The more comments we receive, the more time we'll be here. Please try not to bring up things that we have already discussed and voted on to save us all a little bit of time and sanity today. Okay, awesome. We're just going to dive right in. Chapter 1, Scope and Administration. So our first vote, again, is for section 101.1. So go ahead and go into your form, enter this 101.1 in the section and submit your votes.
Kim, quick clarification. Before we vote, would this be the place we would have comments first, correct?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, you're right. I
don't have any comments. I just
Excited.
wanted to.
No, Carolyn, you're absolutely right. I got a little too excited. Yes, that is how that will work from here on out.
Chris, yes.
Thank you, Chris. Rob?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay.
And Kim, for the Lotus team, I mean, I don't want to make you have to call on us every time since we're obviously going to know the drill. We don't have to have you call on us 150 times. If you want to, feel free. Should Rob and I just feel free to chime in while these are tallying?
Yeah, I think that's fine. If board members are okay with that, I think that makes sense to me. Cool. I'm seeing nods. All right, so 21 votes for yes. Fantastic. This passes. Moving on. So for 101.2, if anyone would like to speak against this proposal, please raise your hand. Carolyn, your hand is still up. Okay, anyone who would like to speak for this proposal, please raise your hand. Okay, with that said, everyone please cast your votes. Andrew and Rob and Chris, excuse me, please feel free to state your votes.
Rob, yes. Yes.
Thank you. And Chris, if you could say your name first too, that would just be helpful for the public record.
Copy that.
Awesome. All right, and here we go. All right, Lotus team. I'm just going to pause here. Allie, Claire, Molly's, it looks a little funky. How are we doing? Tracking everything. I know it'll take a couple probably to get it ironed out, but feeling okay?
Getting used to it. Excuse me.
If they insert Chris and Rob in the middle, it should fix the tallying issue for them.
So the thing is we actually have to wait until all votes are in. They have to be added at the top. Otherwise it messes with the whole system. So we will so that does say to everybody, please get your votes in quickly so we can add the 2 verbal voters in there.
I think she means if you add it, like after everybody votes, if you add it, say in between two rows that exist, you won't have to redo the formula every time. Like if you were to insert the rows between rows 46 and 47, your formulas won't have to be adjusted. Sorry, Excel nerd.
Yeah, yes, okay. I see what you're saying. I think for now, Allie, let's just get these two inserted 2 rows above. Claire, if you can fix the voting things, so we just make sure we just gotta get going, team. Claire, Allie. Okay, we have 14 votes, yes, so we're gonna move on to our next vote, but let's make sure, Claire, Allie, you guys are. Allie, I think just focus on the names and the yeses and then, or no's or abstains, and then Claire, if you can tally our votes, but we're gonna move on to the next one since we have enough to pass that one.
So
And then,
I'm curious because that's not the total number of board members. Are people not voting, or are they not submitting an abstain, or is there an issue? I just want to pause for a second because I would expect for every vote we would have the same total votes.
so this total here is 21 rows.
Great. And there's 21, correct?
Yes. So yes. So Claire, I think you just want to copy that first one, wait till Allie adds the 2 rows, and then drop the equations at the top. Cool. All right. Thanks guys for bearing with us. Having to show all the votes come in live added a fun little challenge for us, for our team to try to figure out. Okay. So 103.1. Or excuse me, 101.3, excuse my dyslexic reading ability. So would any board members like to speak against this proposal? Okay, Andrew, I'm gonna give you 25 seconds on my phone starting now.
I still feel the need to restate that the board did not fully meet the statutory obligation intent of 5C1 and 5C3 with respect to the lowest possible cost and to home affordability. Thank you.
Thank you. And Cody, over to you.
Yeah, similar. The statutory obligation is to include model energy ready and solar ready code that seek to minimize costs, not balance it with the cost of future retrofits. So I'm a no vote on this.
Okay, thank you, Cody. Any board members like to speak in support of this amendment, or excuse me, of this section? Okay, seeing no hands, we'll go ahead and vote. Everybody, please make sure 101.3 is in your form. Submit your answers.
Chris, yes.
Thank you, Chris.
Rob, yes.
Thank you, Rob.
Kim, I'm going to chime in for Billy when I can. This is Kim. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Kim. And we'll get one more in there. And for Kim, yes. Awesome. Okay, so we had 16 yes votes, 5 no votes, 0 abstains, so 21 votes total. So this section passes. Thank you, guys. We're getting the hang of it. Okay, 101.4 applicability. Would any board members like to speak against this proposal? Please raise your hand. Seeing no hands, would any board members like to speak for this proposal? Please raise your hand. Seeing no hands, okay, please submit your votes. Verbal voters, go ahead and chime in.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Thank you, 3. Okay, fantastic. Awesome, so 21 votes, all in favor. Moving on to our next section, 101.4.1. Do any board members want to speak against this? And any board members want to speak for this? Okay, with that, please cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Kim? And
Kim, yes.
Just so folks know, Kim unfortunately is in some mandatory travel today, so she's going to do her best. It sounds like Aaron might be too, so we'll just be patient with our board members that had to be on the move today so we can make sure we capture their votes. All right, that is 21 votes yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. So that is 21 votes for this proposal. It passes. 101.4.2. Would any board members like to speak for this proposal? Or excuse me, against this proposal? Okay, any board members for this proposal? Okay, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Awesome. All right. Wonderful. Okay, so we have 21 votes. We have 1 no vote, 20 yes votes, 0 abstain. So we are passing this section. Okay, next section, 102.1. Any board members that would like to speak against this proposal, please raise your hand. Okay, any board members that would like to speak for this proposal, please raise your hand. And seeing no hands, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Fantastic, thank you guys. All righty, so we've got 21 votes, all in favor. Wonderful, we will keep it moving. 102.1.1. Would any board members like to speak up against this proposal? Any for this proposal? Okay, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Thank you, guys. And there we have it, 21 votes, 20 yes, 1 no. This section passes. We will go on to the next. So 102.1.2. Would any board members like to speak against this proposal? Please raise your hand. Any board members want to speak for this proposal? Please raise your hand. And seeing none, we will go ahead and vote.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Thank you, guys. Okay. And we'll just wait for that last vote to come in from our board. There it is. Okay, 21 votes. Yes, no votes. So this section passes. On to the next, 102.2. Would any board members like to speak against this proposal? Any board members want to speak for? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Thank you, guys. All right, and that is 21 yes votes on this section. Fantastic. Moving along to 102.2.1. Any board members like to speak against this proposal? Any board members who would like to speak for this proposal? All right, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Thank you, guys. All right, 21 yes votes is what we've received. Wonderful. We'll continue along. 103.1. Any board members like to speak against this proposal? Please raise your hand. Anyone who would like to speak for? Please raise your hand. All right, please submit your votes.
Rob, yes.
Yes.
Kim, yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, 3. Okay, 21 yes votes is good to go. So we will continue on to 103.2. Any board members that would like to speak against this proposal? Okay, any board members that would like to speak for this proposal? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Thank you, 3. We're just missing one vote from a board member. There we go. Okay, thank you all. That is 21 votes in favor of this section. So we'll continue on. 103.3. Would any board members like to speak against this proposal? Seeing no hands, would any board members like to speak for this proposal? Seeing no hands, go ahead and submit your votes, please.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you, guys. That's 21 votes in favor of this section. Fantastic. There's a lot in the general section. 103.3.1 is the next one. Would any board members like to vote, or excuse me, speak against this proposal? Would any like to speak? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm getting it all mixed up. Would anyone like to speak against this proposal? Would anyone like to speak for this proposal? Okay. Hearing none, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. So we've got 20 yes, 1 abstain. And so that is what we need to pass this section. All right, 103.3.2. Would any board members like to speak against this proposal? Okay, raise your hands, everyone. It's just Tim. Okay, Tim, we'll pass it to you. 25 seconds, starting now.
Yeah, thank you. I did not catch this when we discussed this. I guess that was yesterday or sometime. But the 90 days, the actual code language and all of the I codes has the 180 days. So to be consistent, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have 90 days in this code, but to be consistent across all the codes being adopted, it should be 180 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Would any board members like to speak in favor of this proposal? Andrew, you have 25 seconds starting now.
It was my recollection and understanding that the 90-day extension was expressly in the code I was reading at the time.
Thank you, Andrew. Tim, I'll just point out that 180 days is in this. I don't know if that's the 180 days you're referencing. 90 days is included down here.
If I could respond to that, the extension is the 90-day, and the code language in the ICC codes does have the extension for 180 days. All the books I read on my desk this morning.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, with that in mind, if all board members would please cast your vote for this section, reminding you no vote sends it to the executive committee to vote on and edit if needed. Okay.
Chris, abstain.
Rob, yes.
Kim, abstain.
Okay. So with that, we have 11 yes votes, 6 no, 4 abstain. With that, it's not enough to pass this section, so this will go to the executive committee. Thank you, guys. So 103.3.3, any board members like to speak against this proposal? Would any board members like to speak for this proposal? Seeing no hands, please cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes. Kim, yes.
Chris, yes.
And Allie, Claire, just to note, you guys missed Cody's submission for this one. Yep, there we go. Okay. All right, so we have 20 yes votes, 1 abstain, which leaves us 21 votes in favor, or excuse me, 20 votes in favor of this, which passes this section. Okay, 103.4 is our next section. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Would any board members like to speak for this section? Okay, seeing none, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Awesome, 21 yes votes will do the trick. Okay, next up, 103.5. Any board members like to speak against this proposal? Would any like to speak for this proposal? Seeing none, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Thank you, 3. Awesome. That is 21 yes votes for this section. Okay, section 103.6. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Okay. Oh, all right. I see 2 hands. So Andrew, we'll start you first at 25 seconds.
This language was discussed yesterday. And the implication yesterday was that this was straight out of the code. Upon reviewing the IBC, the IRC, and the IECC, this concept is only contained in the commercial section of the IECC and does not exist in the other 2 codes. I am adamantly against and believe this is an unfair and unnecessary burden on home building. This section here, and as I had proposed yesterday, residential or 1 and 2 family dwelling and townhome should have been exempted from this section. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Cody, I'll go to you, 25 seconds.
Same sentiment. Thanks.
Thanks, Cody. And Tim, I will go to you, 25 seconds.
Totally agree with Andrew's comments in terms of how the IRC, the difference on the IECC language. It should just apply on commercial. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys. Would any board members like to speak for this section? Seeing no hands, if our board could please submit their votes.
Chris, abstain.
Kim, yes.
Rob, no.
And Kim, I'm sorry, I missed your vote. Could you please restate that?
Kim, yes.
So that was Chris abstain, Rob no, and Kim yes. Fantastic. All right, everyone. So we have 3 yes votes, 11 no votes, 7 abstain votes. So this section will not pass and will get passed along to the executive committee for final for finalization. Okay, 103.6.1. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Okay, Andrew, I will give you 25 seconds starting now.
This may be a procedural question that if the specific is under the general, if the general is not passed, do the specifics fall out automatically or no?
That's a good question. Adam, I would say, I would think yes, because they are dependent on each other, but Adam, let me know.
Yeah, I would just say if the specifics are completely reliant on the general, then yes, they would fall out. However, if the executive committee is able to resolve 103.6, then these others could still fall under that if that works. So I would say that we should still continue to vote on all the subs, just in the event that the executive committee is able to resolve the issue.
Thank you, Adam. Kristen, is it a question or would you like to provide comment for this?
It'll be less than 10 seconds. In the event that this is retained for commercial, I think it is important. Thanks.
Thank you, Kristen. Okay, would any board members like to speak? I think Kristen might have been speaking for this section. Would any other board members like to speak for this section? Seeing no hands, please cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, abstain.
Thank you, 3. Excuse me. Okay, so we have our 21 votes, 12 yes, 5 no, 4 abstain. That does not pass this section. So this section will also be sent to the executive committee. Okay, this is another subsection of that. So 103.6.2. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Please raise your hand. Would any board members like to speak for this section? Please raise your hand. Okay, please cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, abstain.
Chris, yes.
Okay, thank you, guys. I think just need the yes Al in Kim's, and that should get us to 21. There we go. Okay, so 12 yes votes, 7 no votes, 2 abstain votes. This section also does not pass and will be sent to the executive committee. Okay. 104.1. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Would any board members like to speak for this section? Okay, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Okay, I also have.
Wonderful. All right, and that's 21 votes, all yes, for 104.1. All right, and to 104.2. Would any board member like to speak against this section? Would board members like to speak for this section? All right, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob,
yes.
yes.
Okay, thanks, Kim and Rob. I heard both yeses from you. Awesome. So that is 21 votes yes. So this section will also pass. Got a little excited there. Okay. Oh, sorry. Not clicked into the right section. There we go. Okay. 104.2.1. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Would any board members like to speak for this section? Seeing none, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Kim,
Rob,
yes.
Rob, yes.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. That is 21 yes votes for this section. So we'll keep it going. 104.2.2. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Would any board members like to speak for this section? Seeing none, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone. So we've got 21 yes votes for this section. So this passes. Moving right along, 104.2.3.
Kim or Adam, I just want to note there's something in the QA to look at.
Thanks.
Yeah, I believe she's on the call.
I'm here.
Thank you. Thanks, Carolyn, for pointing that out. I also just want to note that Kim is actively traveling. She just texted me to please vote yes for her on the next 5 sections. So Allie, Claire, and Molly, please note that. Okay, 104.2.3. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Would any like to speak for this section? Okay, Tom, over to you. I'm sorry, I didn't catch if that was going to be for or against.
It's sort of an against, just bringing to the attention that number 1 denotes wiring. And I believe on large commercial, we're not requiring that. So it's a little bit inconsistent.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Would any board members like to speak for this section? Hearing none, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, no.
Thank you both. And Kim, we will count this as a yes from you. Okay. So that is 14 yes votes, 7 no votes, 14 is the 2/3 consensus that we need. So this section does pass. Moving along to 104.2.4. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Any for this section? Okay, please submit your votes.
Yes.
Rob, yes.
Thank you both. And Kim will grab, this is your second yes. Awesome, 21 yes votes for this section. We will keep it moving. 104.3. Would any board member like to speak against this proposal? Would any like to speak for this proposal? Okay, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Thank you both. Kim, that is your third yes that we're tracking for your votes. And that is 21 yes votes. Awesome. All right, thank you guys. 104.4. It's our next section. If any board members would like to speak against this, please raise your hand. Any board members would like to speak for this? All right, seeing no hands, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Thank you both. Kim, this is your fourth yes vote, just so you're tracking with us. And so that is 21 yes votes for this section. Fantastic. All right, 104.5. Any board members like to speak against this proposal? Any for it? All right, please submit your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Thank you guys. And Kim, this is your fifth yes. So if you'd like us to track any more of your votes, feel free to shoot me a message. Otherwise, we'll ask for your voice vote at the next one. So that is 21 yes votes. So this section passes. Moving down, 104.6. Would any board members like to speak against this proposal? Would any like to speak for it? Seeing none, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Kim, yes.
Beg your pardon, yes. Rob, yes.
Thank you, Rob. All right, that's 21 yes votes for this section. Continuing on, 105.1. Any board members that would like to speak against this proposal? Would any board members like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Okay, there we have it. 21 yes votes for this section. Thank you, guys. Moving on to 105.2. Any board members that would like to speak against this section? Any board members that would like to speak for this section? Okay, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Awesome. Okay, thank you guys. So that's 21 yes votes for this section as well. All right, 106.1. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Would any like to speak for this section? All right, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Thank you, 3. Wonderful. All right, that is 21 yes votes for this section. We will keep it moving. Excuse me. 107.1 is our next section. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Would any board members like to speak for this section? All right, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Thank you, 3. And everybody. I mean to thank everybody for submitting your votes. That is 21 yes votes. So this section passes. 107.2. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Okay. Would anyone like to speak for this section? Okay, please submit your votes. And I did get a message from Kim. She will vote yes on the next 3 proposed sections.
Chris,
Rob,
yes.
yes. Sorry, Chris, yes.
Thank you both. I caught those 2 yeses. All right, so that is 21 yes votes for this section. Awesome. We will continue on 107.2.1. Are there any board members that would like to speak against this section? Any that would like to speak for this section? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Thank you. Chris, did you say yes? Because a little muffled.
Yes, I said yes.
Thank you. Okay. And Kim, that was your second yes vote of the 3 you asked me for. So that is 21 yes votes for this section. Okay. Awesome. Moving along to 107.2.2. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Any for it? All right, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
And Kim, this is your 3rd yes. All right, 21 votes yes for this section. Awesome. 107, I'll just make sure I didn't miss something there. Yeah, okay, great. 107.3 is the next section. Any board members want to speak against this section? Any for it? All right, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
And Kim, if it's possible, we didn't get a vote from you on this.
Kim, yes, sorry.
No, you're good. Thank you, Kim. All right, 21 yes votes for this section. Awesome. All right, 107.4. Anyone want to speak against this proposal? Awesome. Anyone for this proposal? All right, submit your votes, please.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Kim, yes.
Awesome. There we have it. 21 yes votes for this section. Awesome. We will continue on. 108.1. Would anyone like to speak against this section? Would anyone like to speak for this section? All right, submit your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
And I want to check our Google form folks having an issue submitting because I'm not seeing anything populate here.
Should we try to resubmit?
Yeah.
Let me just do a quick refresh on my side and go back down to where we were, row 800. Yeah, yes. Okay. If you guys don't mind resubmitting, I'm sorry, I didn't grab any of those.
Looks like they
Wait,
No.
yeah.
Now they are in here. Okay. Well,
If no one submitted twice, then I think we're okay. But
think
anyone,
a couple people might have. Let's just see where this line goes. So
I did.
okay. Do you mind if I delete your second submission here?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Google Sheets, don't break us on us now. Okay, thanks. So that is 21 yes votes. So this section will pass. 108.2 is the next section. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Any for it? Okay, please send in your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Kim, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. So that is, everyone is in, 21 votes yes. So this section will pass. 108.3. Would any board members like to speak against this proposal? Any for it? All right, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Awesome. All righty. We have 20 yes votes, 1 abstain vote. So this section passes. All right. We have 108.4. Any board members that would like to speak against this section? Are there any that would like to speak for this section? Okay, submit your votes, please.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Okay, great. So that is 21 yes votes for this section. This section will pass. Moving along here. Oops. So 109.1 is our next section. Any board members that would like to speak against this section? Any that would like to speak for it? All right, please submit your entries, your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Awesome. 21 yes votes for this section. Moving on to 109.2. Any board members that would like to speak against this section? Any that would like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
All right, thank you guys. That is 21 yes votes for this section. Moving on to 109.3. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Would any like to speak for it? All right, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Awesome. And that is 21 yes votes for this section. So this section will pass. And give yourselves a light round of applause. We got through one section of this code. Nice work, everyone. Okay. We are going to get through chapter 2 and then we'll give everyone a break. So just bear with us as we keep cranking out these definitions. And then we'll give you guys a breather as soon as this section's done. Okay, so we are going to go to 201.1. Any board members that want to speak against this section? Are there any that like to speak for it? All right, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
All right, that gives us 21 yes votes for this section. 201.2 is the next section. Would anyone like to speak against this section? Anyone that would like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Wonderful. That is 21 yes votes on this section. We will continue on to 201.3. Any board members that would like to speak against this section? Any who would like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
All right. And that gives us 21 yes votes on this section. Awesome. 201.4 is our next section. Anyone want to speak against this section? Anyone want to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Wonderful. That is 21 yes votes on this section. Okay, so now we're going to get into the definitions, and just to flag that these look slightly different. What we're going to have you guys do is, instead of putting in the word of the definition, we're just going to have you write def 1, def 2, def 3, def 4, so on and so forth, just to try to keep things simple. So continue to please put this in your forms for voting. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Would any like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Thank you, guys. And just so you guys know, don't worry about capitalizations or formatting. If the D, E, F, and 1 is in the same thing, we will know what you mean. All right, awesome. That is 21 yes votes for this definition. We'll go on to the next one. Would any board members like to speak against this definition for approved agency? Would any like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, guys. That is 21 yes votes for this definition. Definition number 3 for code official. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Would anyone like to speak for it? All right, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Awesome. All righty, we've got our 21 votes for yes votes for this definition. So we will continue on to definition 4 for combustion equipment. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Any for it? Please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Okay, so we have 21 yes votes, 1 abstain vote. So this definition passes. Definition number 5 is for commercial building. Please, would any board members like to speak against this proposal or this definition? Would any like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
All right, fantastic. That is 21 yes votes for this definition. All right, our next definition is for core and shell. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Any for it? All right, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Thank you, 3. Okay, awesome. That is 21 yes votes for this definition. Continuing on to definition 7, direct current fast charger or DCFC, and then EVSE, direct current fast charger EVSE. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Carolyn, I see your hand, so we'll go to you. 25 seconds starting now.
Not speaking against it, I just want to note for the record to make sure that we define EVSE before we use the acronym. Thank you.
Okay, yes, thank you, Carolyn. Any board members that would like to speak against this definition? Any for it? Okay, not hearing any other comments, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
All right. Thank you, guys. That looks like 21 yes votes for this definition. And definition 8, electric vehicle. Would anyone like to speak against this definition? Tim, I see your hand, so we'll go to you. 25 seconds starting now.
Actually, to go backwards, what would be the process to get that new definition in? I think Carolyn made a good point.
So Tim, the definition is in there. It's just later on. All the definitions were organized alphabetically. So we just haven't gotten to EVSE yet.
Good, thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Good clarifying question, Tim. Okay, we are on electric vehicle definition. Would anyone like to speak against this definition? Anyone for it? All right, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, guys. I see 21 yes votes for this definition, so this definition passes. All right, we'll go on to definition 9, electric vehicle capable light space. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Any that would like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
And I think we're just waiting on one vote here.
I think Aaron did note in the chat that he was transitioning to his phone, so that could be what. Oh, he did vote. Okay, never
Aaron
mind.
here. Andrew, I think I'm missing your vote.
My screen's stuck or the Google Doc.
Uh-oh.
Clear it and start it.
Okay. While you're doing that, Andrew, do you want to vote verbally for this one and we can get you logged?
Give me a sec here.
Sure.
See if
Take
I
your time.
work.
Oh, your response just popped in, Andrew. So we are good to go. Thank you for figuring that out. Okay, so we've got 21 yes votes for definition 9. Moving on to definition 10 for electric vehicle capable space. Any board members that would like to speak against this definition? Any for it? Please submit your votes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Chris, if you unmuted and voted, your sound did not come through.
Apologies. Chris, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Chris. All right, that is 21 yes votes for definition 10. On to definition 11, electric vehicle ready space. If any board members would like to speak against this definition, please raise your hand. Any for it? Okay, thank you, guys. Please cast your votes.
Chris, yeah.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I have 20 yes votes and 1 abstain vote. So this definition passes. We will move on to definition 12 for electric vehicle supply equipment. Any board members would like to speak against this proposal or this definition? Any for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Okay, and that is 21 yes votes for definition 12. Moving on to definition 13, electric vehicle supply equipment installed space. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Any like to speak for it? All right, please submit your votes.
Yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
All righty, that is 21 yes votes for definition 13. Awesome, moving on to definition 14 of first tenant finish. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Any for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
And this one might be where we lost Aaron. Don't see his vote. Oh, there it is. All right, thank you, Aaron. Captured your vote. So that is 21 yes votes for definition 14. Okay, definition 15 is for fuel gas. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Any for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
There we have it. That is 21 yes votes for definition 15. Yep. Okay, now on to the next. Definition 16 is for fuel oil. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Any for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
All righty, there is 21 yes votes for definition 16. There are 21 votes, be the right way to say that. Moving on is definition 17 for future electric equipment. If the board would like to speak against this definition, please raise your hand. Anyone that would like to speak for it, please raise your hand. Okay, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Okay, thank you guys. That is 21 yes votes for definition 17. Definition 18, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. Would anyone on the board like to speak against this definition? Anyone for it? Okay, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Okay, thank you all. That is 21 yes votes for definition 18. Definition 19 is for a residential building. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Would any like to speak for it? Okay, thank you guys. Please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Great, thank you guys. That is 21 yes votes for definition 19. Definition 20 is the solar ready zone. Would any board members like to speak against this definition? Would any like to speak? Oh, okay. Andrew, I see your hand. I will start your 25 seconds now.
I've gone back and forth on this one multiple times. I wish to restate that initially I thought we'd remove this piece from the residential. It got brought back in, if my recollection, I may be off. But independent of that, I still adamantly believe it's beyond the scope of the statute and solar thermal was not necessary to be included in the definition. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Kevin, just to clarify, are you speaking for or against?
For.
Or for?
Yeah, and we did discuss this yesterday, and all this does is allow the space to be used for that. It doesn't preclude the use or demand the use of solar thermal, so I should vote in favor.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Any other board members like to speak for? Okay, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Thank you, guys. And Kevin, just a heads up, your hand is still raised. Okay, that is 17 yes votes, 4 no votes. So that 17 yes votes still meets our 2/3 consensus. So definition 20 will pass as written. Okay, we did it through another section. So we will give you guys a break. Try to be back at 1:25. Enjoy your time away from your computer. Okay, everyone. It's 1:25. Excuse me. So, if you guys want to make your way back to your computers, stretch out your fingers, get ready to go. Carolyn.
Just letting you know I'm here.
Oh, thank you. And
Stretching
thank
my fingers. You told us to stretch our fingers.
Rob, I'm guessing that's what you were doing too.
Correct.
Awesome. All right, everyone. I see you guys. Thanks all for being back. Allie, I'm just gonna make sure you're feeling ready to go, and we'll triple check that you are Adam, can you please make Allie a co-host?
I think I already did.
Oh, fantastic. All right, Allie. With that, take it away and let me know when you need the timer.
Awesome. Sorry, I was finding the unmute button. Cool. We'll dive straight into chapter 3 if everyone's cool with that. And the first part is residential electric ready code. And the first up is our general provision. Does any board member want to speak against this provision? Yeah, Tim.
Thank you. I am voting against the existing language in the scope sections, which states new construction. And I urge the board members to support my proposed amendment to change this to new buildings. This will include all the scope sections other than the one that was voted in for section CE 301, which changed the language to new buildings, additions, and tenant finishes. I'm not advocating adding additions or first-time tenant finishes to the other scope sections. I should point out that section 101.3, which the board voted in or voted to approve, says to prepare new buildings. I believe the 6 separate scope sections should use the same language, new buildings, which will then be consistent across the new code. The scope sections of any of these codes are the most important sections since it gives the AHJ the parameters of how to legally enforce these codes. It is also important to have this language in order to help all the AHJs enforce this code consistently across the state. Will also help make sure some AHJs do not enforce this new code on existing building alterations. Please change the language to new buildings. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Just for clarification, Tim did email us before this and was planning on basically repeating what he said just now for all of the scope sections. So that's why let him finish his thing. Does any board member want to speak for this section? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes now.
And Allie, I just want to note we will be getting a verbal vote from Aaron at this for the next little bit per his note in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you.
Rob, no.
Chris, abstain.
Kim, yes.
All right.
And Aaron, if you are voice voting, if you want to unmute and vote when you have the chance.
Aaron, abstain.
Thanks, Aaron. Looks like that is our last vote. And there are 5 yeses, 11 noes, 5 abstains. And this section does not have enough to pass, so it will go to the executive committee. Thanks, everyone. Moving on to 302.1, RA 302.1, additional electric infrastructure. Does anyone want to speak against this section? All right, does anyone want to speak for this section? Yeah, Carolyn.
I just want to note that I believe this section is independent of the disposition of the previous, and so we should continue to vote for it and in favor of it.
Thank you. If no one else wants to speak for or against, then please cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Aaron,
Kim,
yes.
yes. Kim, yes.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Quickly, Claire, I think. Oh, no, we're good. Never mind.
Yeah, we're good. I had the same double take. I was like, looks like we have 21 yes votes for, so this section passes. Thanks, everyone. Moving on to RE 302.2 combustion equipment. Does anyone want to speak against this? Yeah, Andrew, your time starts now.
In discussing the definition of combustion equipment, I probably should have said no. In reviewing the exception in R3021, which is, I believe, correct, here in R3022, there's a ripple effect I don't think we've yet thought through with respect to dual fuel heat pump with dual fuel backup, or even a interior fireplace that isn't primary that may be replaced with an electric fireplace that may not be of comparable capacity, that there may not be sufficient amperage for comparable capacity, and that creates an issue that has not yet been addressed. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Anyone else? Does anyone want to speak for this section? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes.
Aaron, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Kim, yes.
Thank you. Looks like we have our 21 votes in. We have 17 yeses, 4 noes. So this section passes. Thank you, everyone. Sorry, I forgot to scroll the first time. Okay. Moving on, we have RE 302.3. Sorry, this is a typo here. Electrical panel space. Does anyone want to speak against this? Yeah, Andrew.
In other instances, in the body of the code, in other sections, it's more specific as to the requirement. I'm concerned that the minimum can be used against parties that somebody may come in with future electric equipment and appliances and attempt to argue that the minimum was intended to be more than 2 pole, and it creates an issue that I don't think we fully addressed and would have been better addressed in each instance as to what the necessary requirement should have been. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Does anyone want to speak for this section?
I would just remind everyone also that this is RE 302.3, not 0.2. That was the typo.
Thanks, Adam. All right, please.
My typo.
Just making sure everyone was on the same page, not calling anyone out.
All right, you're already casting your votes for RE 302.3.
Rob, yes.
All right.
Yes.
Kim,
Thank
yes.
you. And I have a message from Aaron in the chat saying he's a yes for the next 4 items. So I'm counting this one as number 1. We have 22 votes in here. Oh, I think Kristen had tried to fix her typo. So, all right, regardless, we have 17 yes votes, 4 no's. So this provision passes as well. Thank you, everyone. We are back on track with our labeling. This is RE 302.4 labeling. So does anyone want to speak against this section? Okay. Anyone want to speak for this section? All right, please cast your votes if you haven't already.
Kim, yes.
Rob is yes.
Chris, yes.
And then this is Aaron's second yes. Awesome. Looks like we have 20 yes votes, 1 no vote, and this provision passes. Thank you so much. All right, moving on, we have RE 302.5 adjacency. Does anyone want to speak against this provision? All right, seeing none. Anyone for? Awesome. Please cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
All right, and this is Aaron's third yes. All right, 21 yes votes. Thank you so much, everyone. This provision passes. Next section up is RA 302.6, condensate drain. Anyone want to speak against? Anyone for this section? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
And then this is Aaron's fourth yes. Awesome. We have 19 votes for, 2 against. So this provision also passes. Cool. That's all for residential. We are moving on to commercial electric ready code. First up is CE 301.1 general. Does anyone want to speak against this code provision? All right. Seeing none. Anyone for? Please raise your hand. Cool. Please cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Awesome. And we have a message from Aaron again in the chat. Next 4 items are yeses. So that is his first. Moving on to 301.1.1. First tenant.
You wanna just announce the results of that one real quick?
Oh, sorry. Totally. Yeah. 21 yeses. So this section passes. All right, so first tenant finishes. Does any board member want to speak against this? Please raise your hand. All right, seeing none. Anyone for, please raise your hand. Awesome, please cast your votes then.
Rob, no.
Kim, yes.
Chris, yes.
Thanks, voice voters. We have Aaron as a yes for this one as well. That's his second of 4. We have 17 yes votes for this and 2 no's and 2 abstain. So this measure passes as well. Thanks everyone for your votes. We are moving on to CE 302.1 additional electric infrastructure. Anyone want to speak against this one? Please raise your hand. Anyone for this? All right, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
All right, and we have a yes from Aaron as well. That's his third. And we have 21 yes votes. Awesome. Cool. We are moving on to CE 302.2. Anyone want to speak against this provision? Please raise your hand. And anyone for this provision, please raise your hand now. Awesome. Please cast your votes then.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
And this is Aaron's fourth yes, I believe. All right, we have 18 yeses, 2 no's, and 1 abstain. So this provision also passes. Thanks for your votes, everyone. Moving on, CE 302.2.1 combustion equipment. Anyone want to speak against this, please raise your hand. Anyone want to speak for this? Please raise your hand now. All right, cast your votes then.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Awesome. Aaron, are you in a spot where you can either vote or?
Yes. Aaron, yes. Sorry, you guys all just went through an
All good.
Excel.
All right, we have 19 yeses and 2 nos, so this provision also passes. So we are moving on to CE 302.2.2 electrical panel space. Anyone want to speak against this? Anyone for? All right, please cast your votes. Cruising.
Kim, yes.
Rob, abstain.
Chris, yes.
Aaron, yes.
Thank you. We have 18 yeses, 2 noes, and 1 abstain. Thank you so much. Moving on. CE 302.2.3 labeling. Anyone want to speak against this provision? Please raise your hand. All right. Anyone want to speak for it? Otherwise, cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Aaron, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Perfect. All right, all 21. We have 19 yes votes, 2 no votes. So this provision passes as well. Thank you. So next up is CE 302.2.4 adjacency. Does anyone want to speak against this one? Anyone for? If not, please go ahead and cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Aaron, yes.
Chris, yes.
Awesome, thank you. All right, all 21 are in. 19 yes votes, 2 no's. This provision passes. Moving on to CE 302.2.5 condensate drain. Does anyone want to speak for against this? Sorry. Anyone for? All right, cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Aaron, yes.
Chris, yes.
Perfect, thanks. All right, 19 votes for yes and 2 no votes. So this provision will also passes. Moving on to CE 302.3, large commercial buildings. Anyone want to speak against this provision? Anyone for? All right, please cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Aaron?
I voted in the form.
Oh, awesome. He's back, everyone. Cool, thank you so much. We have 21 yes votes. Moving on. CE 302.3.1, combustion equipment or appliances. Does anyone want to vote or speak against this? All right. Seeing none, anyone want to speak for this? Awesome, please cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob's yes.
Chris, yes.
All right, we have 19 yes votes and 2 no votes. So this provision also passes. Moving on, CE 302.3.2 electrical panel space. Does anyone want to speak against this one? Anyone for? Awesome. Please cast your votes then.
Kim, yes.
Rob abstain.
Chris, yes.
All right, thanks. That's all the voters. We have 18 yeses, 2 noes, and 1 abstain. This provision also passes. Thank you, everyone. All right, next up is CE 302.3.3, labeling. Does anyone want to speak against this? All right, anyone for? Cast your votes then.
Kim,
I think that's a yes from Kim.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Perfect, thank you. All right, we're missing 1 vote. Oh, all right, there we go. There's 19 yeses and 2 noes, 21 total. So this provision also passes. Thanks so much. Next up is CE 302.3.4, physical space. Does anyone want to speak against this one? Please raise your hand. If not, anyone for? Cool, please cast your votes then.
Kim,
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Awesome. Need 1 more. I think it, oh, Aaron lost audio.
Yes, yes on this one,
Oh,
Aaron.
awesome, thank you. Cool, I think that's 20 yeses and 1 no. So this one also passes. Aaron, let us know if we need to pop the section in the chat for you or something. Otherwise.
I think I'm good now, thank you.
Okay, perfect, thanks. Cool. We are moving on. Wow, electric ready is done. So now we have solar ready, chapter 4. First up is residential. Let me scroll down here. Now we have RS 401.1 general, and I'll turn it over to Tim for against.
Thank you. Same comment I had the first time to change that word construction to buildings, same reasoning. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Anyone want to speak against this as well? If not, I'll take those 4.
Kim, yes.
Oh, yep. Cast your votes now then. We are moving on.
Rob, no.
Chris, abstain.
Thank you. All right, that's 21 votes in. We have 3 yeses, 11 noes, and 7 abstains. So this will go to the executive committee. Thank you, everyone. Moving on, we have RS 402.1 general. Anyone want to speak against this one? Please raise your hand. All right, seeing none. Anyone want to speak for this? Otherwise, please cast your votes for RS 402.1.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
The buses are
Kim,
coming up
yes.
the
Awesome, thank you. All right, all 21 are in for yes, that one passes. We have RS 402.2 next. Anyone want to speak against? Awesome, okay. Anyone want to speak for? Otherwise, please cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Chris, yes.
You're rolling in. We are missing one vote. All right, 21 yes votes. Thank you so much, everyone. We are moving on to RS 402.3, solar ready zone areas. Anyone want to speak against this one? Please raise your hand. Otherwise, we are going to those who want to speak for. Cool. Cast your votes then.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Awesome. We have 20 votes. Sweet. That's 19 for, 1 no, and 1 abstain. So this one passes as well. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to RS 402.4, obstructions. Anyone want to speak against? All right, please raise your hand if you want to speak for. All right, cast your votes, please.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Cool. We have 1 missing.
Also, just want to flag, I think someone accidentally put RS 402.4 in as their name. We can figure it out by due diligence, but if anyone knows that they accidentally did that and wants to let us know that this is your vote.
I believe that's Andrew.
Andrew confirming that you voted no on this.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn. We have 18 yeses, 2 noes, and 1 abstain. Awesome. Moving on to RS 402.5, shading. Does anyone want to speak against this? Please raise your hand now. Hey, yeah, Kevin.
Just quickly, I won't vote for this. I still object to the language that was added yesterday that allows for obstructions down the line. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Anyone else? Otherwise, we will move on to those who want to speak for this section. Awesome. Please cast your votes then. RS 402.5.
Rob, yes.
Kim, yes.
Chris, yes.
Perfect. We have 19 votes. Awesome, thanks. We have 16 yeses, 1 no, and 4 abstains. So this measure passes. Thank you. We have now RS 402.6, roof load documentation. Does anyone want to speak against this one? Anyone for? If not, please cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
I think the lag is happening again. So
Yep.
give it a second.
Yeah. I will refresh this and see if that works. All right. There's a lot of lines in here.
So I'm just gonna X out on my side, Allie, and see if I can't reopen it and see if it doesn't populate.
Thanks,
I
Kim.
would love to do, we could, I think someone just dropped this in the chat, but we could.
Here we go.
We pop in?
All right. There now.
Awesome.
I wonder if this is a new use case for Google Forms that the engineers didn't think of. Do we have our voice votes in here yet? I'm not sure if we asked for those yet.
Beg your pardon. Yes.
Thanks, Rob.
Chris, yes.
Kim, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And that is 21 yes votes. So this one passes. And it's a happy ending. Cool. We are moving on to RS 402.7 interconnection pathway. Does anyone want to speak against this one? Please raise. Yep, Cody, go for it.
Absolutely. Thanks. So yes, I'm not a fan of this language in residential. I'm fine with in commercial. I just think for residential, I've talked to many installers and they usually go a different route or the route they want to go. So installers might feel like they're bound by that route. And so I think this designation on the plans in residential is just not needed.
Thanks, Cody. Anyone else want to speak against? All right. Anyone want to? Oh, Andrew, did you want to?
I'm sorry, yes. I fully appreciate the intent of this, but I have to agree with Cody on it that it will frustrate the intent while well-intended. It more likely than not will complicate and not achieve its intent. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. And then Tim and Carolyn, are you speaking for or against?
Or
I'm speaking against. I fully agree. I don't think this belongs in the code. We should be able to allow the flexibility for the company to provide that when they actually get the permit later.
Thanks, Tim. All right. Carolyn, I'll turn it over to you for to start off the fours, unless Kevin, you wanted to speak against as well. All right.
great,
All right,
thank you. I'll start. So I think as we're balancing cost, we forewent the actual installation of the conduit and allow this to still meet the legislative intent. I also think that it's a de minimis cost to include an interconnection pathway within the drawings, and it may be usable. There are instances where the installer will come back in and use this, or they will route on the outside. So I still support it.
Thanks, Carolyn. Kevin, you next.
Yeah, and I appreciate the concern with it as well, but I'm concerned that if we don't include it, that it will be left out, and then you have a lot more surface mounted stuff going up the sides of buildings. So I'm in favor of the language as presented.
Thanks, Kevin. Anyone else want to speak? If not, then go ahead and cast your votes now.
Chris, yes.
Rob,
yes.
yes.
All right, I think those were 3 yeses. Thank you. It's kind of nice having other people speak sometimes. Cool. We have 13 yes votes, 6 no's, and 2 abstains. So this will be kicked over to the executive committee. So thanks everyone for those votes. And moving on, we have RS 402.8, electrical service reserved space. Does anyone want to speak against this provision? Seeing none. Anyone want to speak for? If not, please cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Thank you. All right, all 21 in for yes. This one passes. Thank you so much. We are moving on to commercial solar ready. So we have, first up, we have CS 401.1 general, and I'll give it to Tim for against.
Thank you. Same comment as the other ones, to change the words to be consistent. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Anyone else want to speak against? And anyone want to speak for? Awesome. Please cast your votes.
Kim, yes.
Rob, no.
Chris, abstain.
Thank you, everyone. All right, we are waiting on. All right, we have 3 yeses, 11 no's, and 7 abstains. This one is also getting kicked over to the executive committee. does not pass. So now we have CS 402.1 general. Sorry for the very small text here. Anyone want to speak against this one? All right. Anyone want to speak for? Cool. Cast your votes then.
And I received a message from Kim that she would like her next 3 votes to be yes, starting with this one.
This is Rob,
Thanks.
yes.
Chris, yes.
Cool. We are missing 1. Oh, all right. There we go. 21 yes votes. Thank you, everyone. So that is the first yes of 3 for Kim. Now we are moving on to CS 402.2, construction document requirements for a solar ready zone. Does anyone want to speak against? All right, raise your hands if you want to speak for. Otherwise, cast your votes.
Rob,
Chris, yes.
And second of 3 yeses for Kim, so that's
Yes
Aaron,
for
did you need-
Aaron.
all right. Thanks, Aaron. We will add you as a voice vote here. And I think that is our 21st yes. So this one passes. Moving on to CS 402.3. Solar ready zone area. Does anyone want to speak against? Anyone for? All right, please cast your votes then.
And Ally, I just want to note, it looks like Aaron's computer vote came through as well in the previous one, so you may have a duplicate there now.
That was a duplicate. I'm sorry. I was reconnecting to Wi-Fi. So yes, there was a duplicate.
Thanks for the clarification, Carolyn and Aaron.
This is Rob,
Yeah.
yes.
Awesome. And I think that's our 3rd yes for Kim. Cool. We have 20 yes votes and 1 abstain, so this one passes. Awesome. We're moving on to CS 402.4 obstructions. Anyone want to speak against? All right. Anyone for? If not, go ahead and cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
And yes.
Thanks, Kim. All right, 17 yeses, 3 noes, and 1 abstain. This measure passes. Thank you, everyone, for your votes, for sticking with it. We have CS 402.6 interconnection pathway. Does anyone want to speak against? All right, seeing none. Anyone want to speak for? All right, please cast your votes then. Oh, wait. Sorry. Did I skip one?
Did we skip over 402.5?
You skipped.
Don't have it in the deck.
You're right. That is an issue.
Allie, do you have the code version document pulled up on your computer?
Easily done. Let's see.
Right, we can, sorry, everyone, for that
I guess
small
there was
bit.
bound to be a mistake somewhere.
And noting that I
Here we go.
used 5 in mine, so you need to correct, this is Carolyn, to correct that to the 4.402.6.
I see. Thanks, Carolyn.
Oh, okay. Do we need the? Let's see, yes.
It's shading, sorry, it's shading is what's missing, I believe. Or no, it's this one, sorry. Load
All right,
document.
so this is CS 402.5 roof loads and documentation.
So quickly for all the board members who just voted on CS 402.6, I'm going to delete these out of the spreadsheet. We'll reset and revote on that provision in first vote on the CS 402.5. So just so everybody's clear on what's happening.
So what are we voting on now?
All right, sorry about that. We are voting on it. We are not skipping CS 402.5. Please, we'll reset and start over with this one. You can see it on the screen right here, highlighted in pink. So does anyone want to speak against CS 402.5 roof loads and documentation? Yeah, Tim.
Thank you. I think that first sentence of this section is not needed. The second section is all that would match what we just voted on in the residential portion. I think the commercial, on the commercial side, without having any idea what the type of system that's going to go up, that could be well over that. That's going to be part of the engineering design that we would typically as a AHJ be requiring, just like for new rooftop equipment. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tim. Andrew, I'll go to you next.
I concur with Tim. I was actually scrambling as to the basis of the first sentence as to the benefit, and the simplicity of the second is, I think, the intent, as Tim indicated. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Does anyone else want to speak against? Otherwise, we will move to those who want to speak for. Yeah, Elizabeth.
I'll just note that the 5 pounds per square foot, I believe, is what matches up with the 2021 IECC Solar Ready Appendix. But if we want to send this to committee to review and make sure that those things align, I'd be okay with that.
Thanks, Elizabeth. I'll go to Carolyn next.
Yes, and I can verify that the 5 pounds per square foot is one that has been carried forward in code adoption to date, acknowledging that it's a minimum for solar installation on a commercial roof. So I support including it and don't think we need it to be kicked to the executive committee.
Thank you, Carolyn. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. All right, please cast your votes then.
Yes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
All right, thank you for your patience as we figure that out. Awesome, we have all 21 votes in. We have 11 yeses, 6 noes, and 4 abstains. So this one does not pass. So this one is getting kicked to the executive committee. All right. Sorry about missing that one. I think we will re-vote on interconnection pathways, CS 402.6. Anyone want to speak against? Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, same reason for the one on the residential side. I don't think it's needed. It'll be taken care of when these permits come in. Gives a lot more flexibility. They're not going to go back and try to find the original construction documents to see where they are supposed to be put in.
Thanks, Tim. Anyone else? Otherwise, we will move on to those who want to speak for. Yeah, Carolyn.
Yeah, same comment as before, and just speaking from a Boulder perspective, we've been requiring this for the last probably 10 years and find it to be useful.
Thank you, Carolyn. If there is no one else that wants to speak, please cast your votes on CS 402.6.
Allie, we have one hand raised for Kevin.
Oh, sorry, Kevin.
I wanted to see if there was sentiment that would allow for, if the raceway was there, but didn't strictly follow where it was in the documents, I'd be okay with that. It's really the provision of the raceway that I'm concerned with. So there's probably not a way to wordsmith it, but if it comes up, if this goes to the executive committee, that would be the consideration I would add. Sorry, that wasn't said very well.
Thanks, Kevin.
Rob,
Chris,
yes.
Kim, yes.
Chris, I'm sorry. I heard Rob's yes. I just want to make sure I got your yes or vote or whatever it was.
Yes, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks for clarifying. We have all 21 votes in now. That is 12 yeses, 5 noes, and 4 abstains. So this one does not pass and gets kicked to the executive committee. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to CS 402.7, electrical service reserved space. Anyone want to speak against this one? All right. Anyone want to speak for? Seeing none, please cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Kim,
Chris,
yes.
yes.
I think that was both yeses. And we have all 21 in for yes. This one passes. Thank you so much. Moving on to part 3 of this chapter, we have residential solar panel capacity. First up is RS 410.1, and I will kick it to Tim to start the no's.
Thank you. Once again, same comments as before. Change construction to building. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Anyone else want to speak against this one? All right. Anyone want to speak for this one? Seeing none, please cast your votes if you haven't already.
Yeah, take off.
Kim,
I'll
yes.
become.
Rob, no.
Chris, abstain.
I think that was a yes from Kim. So thank you so much. We have 4 yeses, 11 noes, and 6 abstains. So this one also does not pass and will get kicked to the committee. Perfect. Moving on, we are going to RS 410.2, electric reserve service reserved space. Does anyone want to speak against? Cool. Anyone want to speak for? Awesome. Let's vote then.
And just a note, I did receive a message from Kim. She would like yes votes for the next 5 provisions.
All right. So this is number 1 of 5 for Kim.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
All right. We have all 21 votes for yes then. Cool. Moving on. Cruising. We have commercial solar panel capacity code, part 4 of this chapter. CS 410.1 general. Yeah, Tim.
Thank you. Same comments as before.
All right, thank you. Anyone else want to speak against? Anyone want to speak for? Cool, please cast your votes then. And then we have the second of 5 yeses for Kim.
Rob, no.
Chris, abstain.
Thank you. We are missing 1.
I believe it's Aaron.
Aaron,
Oh, there he is.
I'm in there.
I think it's
Sorry.
Tim. I think you're missing Tim.
Oh, we are. Tim, would you? All right, cool. We have all of them. We have 4 yeses, 11 noes, and 6 abstains. So this one also does not pass. You're kicking that one to the executive committee as well. So we have CS 410.2 up next. Does anyone want to speak against? All right, anyone want to speak for? Otherwise, please cast your votes.
Chris, yes.
Excuse me, Rob, yes.
Thanks, guys. And this is yes number 3 of 5 for Kim. And we have 21 yeses. So this one passes. Thanks, everyone. All right, we are almost done with solar ready. We have jurisdictional options up next. That's part 5 of this code. First up is CS 403.x, electrical energy storage system ready area. Does anyone want to speak against this one? Yeah, Cody.
Yes, thank you. I just don't think this one is, again, I think it's beyond the scope. And this information is already available to jurisdictions. I don't think they need us giving it, so I'm gonna vote no.
Thanks, Cody. Anyone else want to speak against this one? Otherwise, we will kick it over to anyone who wants to speak for this one. Seeing none, please cast your votes.
Rob, abstain.
Chris, yes.
Thanks, Chris and Rob. That is yes number 4 for Kim, I think. And we have 13 yeses, 5 nos, and 3 abstains. Does not meet the 14 vote threshold, so we are kicking this one to the executive committee as well. Thank you, everyone. All right, next up is construction documentation certificate. Jurisdictional option RS 403.y/CS 403.y. Anyone? Yeah, I'll give it to Cody to start the against.
Same comments, beyond the scope.
Thanks, Cody. Anyone else want to speak against? Anyone want to speak for? Please raise your hand. Yeah, Carolyn.
So I'll actually be abstaining from this only because the other one was not decided, and I think they should be treated equally. So just wanted to offer that.
Thanks, Carolyn. All right, if no one else wants to speak, then please go ahead and cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
And that is that number 5 for Kim? The 5th, yes. All right, cool. We have all 21 votes in here now. We have 9 yeses, 5 nos, and 7 abstains. This one also does not pass. Thank you, everyone. And we are at another break. We are cruising through this, guys. Thank you so much.
So with that, I think if you guys can please make your way back to your computers at 2:25, we will continue with our final section. Thank you all. Okay, everyone. It is 2:25. We're gonna wait till I see most of your faces pop back, or you throw me a thumbs up, hands up, whatever. And I will go ahead and get started. I just want to note for everyone, thanks for those of you throwing your hands up. I see you guys. That we only have 30 votes left. So kudos to everyone for being so efficient. We're going to fly right through the rest of these. The other thing I wanted to note for our team is that I heard from Kim Wheels. She is on a flight at lost Wi-Fi. She let me know she would like to vote yes on all of the EV amendments, which are the ones that we have left. So we will go ahead and track that, and she'll join us if she's able as soon as she can. All righty, so we're going to go ahead and start it up again. So we're on Chapter 5, EV Ready, and we're going to start with the EV Ready code for residential. So first things first, we'll do RV 501.1. If any board members would like to speak against this, please raise your hand. And Zach, I think your hand might still be up from earlier, but if you would like to speak against it, please keep it up. And Tim, I will start with you.
This is a recording. Thank you. Same comments.
Thank you, Tim. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? All right, with that, please cast your votes.
Rob, no.
Chris, abstain.
Okay. Thank you all. So that is 21 total votes. We have 4 yes votes, 10 no votes, and 7 abstain votes. So this measure does not pass, and we'll go to the executive committee. Up next, we have RV 502. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Would anyone like to speak for it? Seeing no one, please submit your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
And then we have it, 21 yes votes for this provision. So this provision passes. Thank you all. Moving on to RV 502.1 for 1 and 2 family dwellings and townhouses. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Would any like to speak for? All right, cast your votes, please.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yeah.
Okay, thanks everyone for your votes. That is 21 yes votes for this provision. Moving on, we will do RV 502.2 EV ready spaces. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Would any like to speak for it? Okay, please cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Okay, thank you all. That is 21 yes votes for this section. This section passes. We will go on to RV 502.3 identification. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Anyone for it? Okay, please cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
And with that, we have 21 votes, 21 yes votes for this provision. Thank you guys for your vote. We will move next to the commercial EV ready code. And we're going to start with CV 501.1. And Tim, go on ahead.
Thank you. Last time, same comments. Thanks for putting up with me.
Of course. All right. Anyone else would like to speak against? Would anyone like to speak for this? Okay, please cast your votes if you haven't already.
Rob, no.
Chris abstain.
Okay, thanks everyone. So we have 4 yes votes, 10 no votes, and 7 abstains. So this does not pass, and this will be sent to the executive committee. All right, up next is CV 502, electric vehicle power transfer infrastructure. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Would any like to speak for this provision? Okay, please cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
All right, and then that is 21 yes votes for this provision. This provision passes. We will continue to CV 502.1 quantity. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Would any like to speak for it? Seeing no one, cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Okay, thanks everyone. That is 21 yes votes for this section. This passes. We will now move to CV 502.1.1 quantity. If any board members would like to speak against this provision, raise your hand. If anyone would like to speak for it, please raise your hand. Okay, and please cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Okay, thanks all for your votes. We have 19 yes votes, 1 no vote, and 1 abstain, so this measure passes. We'll move on to CV 502.1.1.1 quantity. If any board members would like to speak against this provision, please raise your hand. If anyone would like to speak for it, please raise your hand. Okay, not seeing anything, cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Okay, thank you everyone for your votes. That is 20 yes votes and 1 abstain. So this measure passes. We will keep going to CV 502.1.2. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Would any like to speak for it? Okay, please cast your votes.
Rob is yes.
Chris, yes.
Okay, 21 votes are in, so that is 19 yes votes, 2 abstains. This measure passes. We will continue on to CV 502.1.3. If any board members would like to speak against this provision, please raise your hand. If anyone would like to speak for it, please raise your hand. And seeing nothing, we'll go ahead and vote.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Okay, that is 21 votes we've received, and they are all yes votes, so this provision passes. On to CV 502.1.4. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Would anyone like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Rob is yes.
Chris, yes.
All right. Thanks, everyone. That's 21 votes, and that is all of the votes submitted were yes, so this provision passes. CV 502.1.5. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Kevin?
Not
Cody?
for or against, but just noting, I'm following along with the document that we sent out as the final last night, and that had these sections as 503.1.5, and the following one is 503.1.6. So as long as we're voting on, I think this is the correct nomenclature on screen.
Yes, thanks, Kevin. We did catch that when we were putting together the PowerPoint late last night and thought it would be more confusing to send out a new version. So
Thanks.
thank you for catching that and noting that for the board. So the numbers you see on the screen are the correct ones, and it will be corrected to the number you see on the screen in the final version. Would anyone like to speak against or for this provision? I see votes being submitted. Seeing no hands. Everyone who has not submitted their votes, please go ahead and submit.
Rob is yes.
Chris, yes.
Okay, fantastic. So that is 21 votes submitted, 21 yes votes. So this provision passes. We'll move now to CV 502.1.6. Same concern or same note as the previous one. In the version you were sent yesterday, this said 503, and we have since corrected it. Would anyone like to speak against this provision? Elizabeth, I will go to you.
Just nomenclature, I suggest we change this from apartment to dwelling unit because apartment's not a defined term.
Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. And as we are not doing any changes today, please note that if you'd like to see this changed, it would require an abstain or a no.
No,
to it.
sorry, this is Rob, no.
Okay, thank you, Rob.
Is there a way for me to change my vote? I think I already put it in as yes, but I'd like to change that to a no.
Okay, thanks, Ron. We'll just note that right there. Allie, if you want to update that. Quickly, I know you guys are submitting votes, but we did not get through all of our comments. So Tim, would you like to speak for or against?
I actually like that what was just proposed to change that language due to the lack of definition. I wrote this amendment and I would be in agreement. So if we could put that to the executive committee, I think then that would solve that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, that covers condos.
Chris,
Okay.
no.
Thank you both. And thank you, Chris, for that no vote. Okay, so we have 21 votes in. That is 1 yes vote, 11 no votes, and 9 abstain votes. So this does not pass and will be sent to the executive committee.
Thanks for catching that, Elizabeth.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the table. And so what you'll put in your form is row 1, that's that piece you see at the top of the slide, row 1. And this is the only table in our code, so we will know what it associates with. So as we talked about yesterday, we're going to vote on the table one at a time. So for this first row, would any board members like to speak against this row? All right, I see 2 hands up, so Cody, will go to you first.
I mentioned this yesterday, and I feel like this table as a whole has the potential to be more costly to anything residential or commercial. And therefore, that's why I modified it yesterday. So I would like to vote this down. I think it far exceeds the requirements of the statute. And all these requirements are supposed to be met at the lowest possible cost and not at comparison to future costs. So I'm going to have the same comment on all these one, but I say we vote this down and hope the executive committee will take these up and balance cost of implementation up front.
Thank you, Cody, for your comment. Carolyn, would you like to speak for or against?
Against, please. And while I'm a big advocate for supporting all of the bulk of this table, I am concerned that requiring an EVSE installed space for very small lots for commercial non-residential represents an excessive cost, and so I'll be voting no.
Thank you, Carolyn. And Elizabeth, I will go to you, assuming you were still in against. Right.
Yeah, I agree. And partly for utility rebate reasons, if you don't mandate something, then your local utility can give you money for it. So just in the terms of cost effectiveness, EV Ready is a great place to start, and then you can help get funding for the installed. Thank you.
Elizabeth. Okay. Would any board members like to speak for this provision? Kevin, I'm sorry, were you in against and I just missed your hand?
It's an in-between. Is the indication there to remove the EVSE but go to 2 EV Ready? Is that what the suggestion is? And I know we can't workshop this right now, but for reference for the executive committee, if it goes to them.
Yes, I support the 2 EV Ready spaces we had previously.
Same here, Elizabeth.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Would any board member like to say a statement in support of this provision? Okay. Seeing no hands, please cast your votes.
Rob, no.
Chris, yes.
Okay. Thanks everyone for your votes. We have our 21 votes submitted. The totals are 3 yes votes, 13 no votes, and 5 abstains. So this measure will not pass and will get sent to the executive committee, this row of this table. Okie dokie. Moving on to row 2 of our table. Would any board members like to speak against excuse me, this provision? Please raise your hand. Cody, I will pass it to you. Oh, Cody, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, again, I'm going to vote no. Exceeds the requirement of statute by a lot. And since we're clarifying what we want the executive committee to do, I would like to see EV capable space at 20%.
Perfect. Thank you, Cody. And Don, I will pass it to you next.
I haven't said anything all meeting. I just wanted to agree with Cody.
Great. Thank you, Don. Okay, would any board members like to speak for this provision? Seeing none, please cast your votes.
Rob, no.
Chris, yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you for your votes, everyone. So we have 8 yes votes, 7 no votes, and 6 abstains. So this will not pass and will get sent to the executive committee. Moving on to row 3 of our table. Would any board members like to speak against this one? And Cody, off to you again.
Same comments, 20% EV capable.
Okay, thank you so much. Would any other board members like to speak against this proposal? Kristen, I will pass it to you. Oh, okay, not against. Would anyone like to speak?
I'm speaking for
this proposal. Fantastic. Kristen, I'll start with you then.
I think that, this board was charged with a responsibility for doing this table, and I'm saddened to see us handing over all of these decisions to a smaller executive committee. I support what was workshopped, and I encourage people to support the remaining table rows. Thanks.
Thank you, Kristen. Would any other board members like to speak for this proposal or this provision? Okay, not seeing any. Let's cast our votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob, yes.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. That we have our 21 votes. So we received 12 yes votes, 5 no votes, and 4 abstains. This did not receive the needed 2/3 votes. So this will also go to the executive committee. Okay, and then row 4 of this table. Any board members? Cody, speaking against, so we're clear. Cody?
Against, same comments as before. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. And any board members that would like to speak for, please raise your hand. Elizabeth.
This is the one where I do feel we want to have some EV installed spaces just because that's the primary factor for EV adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Jason, I will go to you now.
Agree with Elizabeth. I think this is where we really need to push installed, ready, and capable.
Great, thanks, Jason. Kevin, back to you.
Agree with the other
you.
sentiments and support.
Great, thank you, Kevin. And Cody, I see your hand. Is that still up or is that a leftover hand?
Rejoinders are allowed, but I did want to say, I don't think there's anything in the statute that is meant to encourage EV adoption. So I think the comment that we should encourage EV adoption is probably also outside the scope. And I just wanted to add that.
Okay, thank you, Cody. All right, any further comments from the board? Seeing no hands, please submit your votes.
Chris, yes.
Rob is no.
Okay, thanks everyone. That is 21 votes. We have 14 yes votes, 6 no votes, and 1 abstain. So this row will pass as written. Okay, we are moving on to section CV 502.2 EV capable light spaces. Do any board members want to speak against this provision? Do anyone want to speak for it? Okay, please cast your votes.
Rob is yes.
Chris, yes.
Sorry, I was slow on the raising of the hand, but I just want to highlight this one where other board members have indicated that there has not been cost-conscious efforts on behalf of the board, and I think this is an example of one that was. It's a good in between.
Great, thanks, Kevin. Okay, so we have 21 votes in, and that is 21 yes votes for this section, so this passes. Our next section is CV 502.3 EV capable spaces. Would any board member like to speak against this provision? Anyone want to speak for it? Okay, please cast your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Okay, thanks everyone. That is 21 yes votes for this provision, so this passes. We will move now to CV 502.4 EV ready spaces. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Would any like to speak for it? Okay, please cast your votes.
Rob is yes.
Chris, yes.
Thank you. Okay, thanks everyone. So we have 21 yes votes for this provision. This provision will pass. Moving on to CV 502.5, electric vehicle supply equipment. Would any board member like to speak against this provision? Would any board member like to speak for this provision? Okay, send us your votes.
Rob is yes.
Chris, yes.
Okay, thanks everyone. With that, we have 21 yes votes for this provision. This one will pass. Moving on to 502.6 EVSE installed spaces. Would any board members like to say something against this provision? Anyone would like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Thank you, everyone. That is 21 yes votes for this provision. So this passes. And now to CV 502.7 EVSE minimum charging rate. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Anyone want to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Rob, no.
Chris, yes.
Okay, thanks everyone. I think we're just missing one vote. There it goes. Okay, great. Thanks everyone. So we have 18 yes votes, 2 no votes, and 1 abstain. So this measure passes. Move into the next, CV 502.8 EVSE installation. Would any board members like to speak against this provision? Would anyone like to speak for it? Okay, please submit your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Thank you. All right, that is 21 yes votes for this provision. This provision passes. Thanks, everyone. We are cruising. The next one is CV 502.9 identification. Would any board member like to speak against this provision? Would any board member like to speak for this provision? Okay, please submit your votes.
Rob, yes.
Chris, yes.
Okay, thanks everyone. That is 21 yes votes for this provision, so this will pass. And that it takes us through the core of the EV code. So we'll move now to the jurisdictional options. Again, please follow this nomenclature in the top of your slide for the form. This is the EV disbursement section. Would any board members like to speak against this section? Cody, I will pass it to you.
Yeah, same comments as before. I think it's beyond the scope of the statute, and this information is already available to people, possibly confuse people. So thank you.
Thank you, Cody. And Tim, I will pass it to you next.
Thank you. I agree with that. When I read this, if I was trying to enforce it, I'd have no idea how to do that. And I think that you could see it done one way in Broomfield, another way in Westminster, another way. I think I understand it's an option, but I think it's just not good code language.
Thank you, Tim. Any other board members want to speak against? Okay, would anyone like to speak for this proposal or this provision? Okay, seeing no hands, please submit your votes.
Chris, abstain.
Rob, abstain.
Okay, thank you everyone for submitting your votes. We have 8 yes votes, 7 no votes, and 6 abstains. So this will go to the executive committee. And now we'll go to our next jurisdictional option, which is the EV service fees. I hear an echo of myself. I think, Chris, it's you.
Sorry.
Okay, would anyone like to speak against this provision? Cody, we will start with you.
Again, out of the scope, I'm opposed. I think it'll confuse people. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody. Tim, to you
Thank
next.
you. Agree with Cody. It's bad code language also.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Would any board members like to speak in support of this provision? Okay, seeing no hands, everyone please cast your votes.
Chris, abstain.
Rob, no.
Okay, that's 21 votes. Thanks, everyone. So we have 2 yes votes, 6 no votes, and 13 abstains. This measure or this provision does not pass and will go to the executive committee. And we did it. We're done. Nice work, everyone. Give yourselves a little round of applause, little stretch break. Oh, can't believe it. Feels so good. Okay, so, and look at that. It's not even 3 o'clock yet. We do have a couple things just to wrap up with you guys. And before we go ahead and do that, I know Director Tor from the Energy Office has joined us, wants to say a little thank you to the board. So Will, over to you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I just really want to express my appreciation to everybody on the Energy Code Board. You know, looking at how many meetings you've done over the last 3 months, I think we're on meeting 15, and just how long many of these meetings have been. And for the ones where I've listened in or participated, sort of the level of thoughtful discussion has just been tremendous. And, you know, we're moving into a phase where we're not going to be asking as much from you for a while, but I just really want to express the appreciation of the state for the service that you've given.
Thanks, Will. If any board members want to go ahead and respond to Will, feel free to unmute and you're welcome to.
Thank you, Will. It's been an honor.
Yeah, definitely. And I also want to just appreciate all the public that stuck with us as well, watching our meetings and providing input. I think they provided some very important feedback to us. And so I've appreciated that experience.
Thanks, Carolyn. Tim, I see your hand and we'll go you and then Kevin.
Yeah, I wanted to give as big a shout out as I can to the Lotus team and the CEO team. It's pretty amazing how you were able to get us to the finish line. Well, this portion of the finish line before 3 o'clock. So I totally appreciate everything and all the input. This was a fantastic experience.
Thank you, Tim. Kevin, I'll go to you next.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everybody too. It's a rare and shining example that people can respectfully disagree and work towards a common goal together. And thanks as well for the excellent moderation by Lotus. We really appreciate all the efforts and all the board member efforts.
We're happy to be here with you guys through the trenches. Aaron, I'll go to you next.
Yeah, it's just somebody who is not a code person. For good, I mean, I'm so happy that you included people that are not code people from housing, from ownership and rental. But from that perspective, wanted to appreciate all of the building officials and code experts. The work you guys do is amazing, and thank you for really leading discussions, and appreciate that.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Elizabeth?
To second everything everyone said, and also want to just thank the rest of the committee. I learned so much from all of you. I loved hearing all the different perspectives and challenges and everything. And I learned a lot through this whole process, and just want to thank everyone for their contributions, because I think it was really impactful and effective.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And Kristen, I'll go to you.
Thank you again, and a particular thanks to the executive committee. Please keep us posted on how you resolve the issues that we turned over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen. Tim?
Yeah, sorry, I just have one last comment. I've been given direction by my city council, I'm in Broomfield here, to take the final version when it is available, which will be in June, to get that to our city council for adoption, probably before the election in October. So I could very well be one of the first or the first jurisdictions to codify this. So in 6 months or so, I may be calling everybody saying, what in the world did we do? Thank you.
Well, and Tim, I think I'll have some of the first projects going in underneath you, so we'll all figure this out together.
Well, this will be fun. At least we'll understand the nuances. So
You're both going to be fine. You're both going to be fine.
Awesome. Well, I'll just wrap this up by saying I echo everyone's thank you. I have gotten the chance to work with a couple of boards, and I enjoyed every minute working with this board. Your guys' ability to find common ground and work towards common ground, and be respectful of each other and our time together, and of our team. I really just can't thank you guys enough. It's been fun. And even though I haven't seen any of you in person, If you ever catch me in person, let's go get a drink together. Coffee or otherwise. Okay, so with that, we have a couple of final things to wrap up, just so you guys know what's happening following today. So we have to finish this code. And we're going to work with our wonderful executive committee to do so. So everything that was not decided today will go to the executive committee. We have a couple of sessions with our executive committee scheduled in April, where we'll work through any final changes that need to happen to the code. Once we do that, you guys will be sent a final version of the code with all of the changes that the executive committee made, and we'll ask for you guys to provide review and feedback of that code. That will happen, we think, early to mid-May. So we'll keep you guys posted as we've met with the executive committee, so you guys have on your calendars the time set aside to review that when we know we'll get it out. And then the final code report is due June 1st. And so at that date, everything will need to be finalized and wrapped up. And then we'll be all done with this part of your guys' job anyway. Carolyn.
Yeah, I'm assuming the executive committee meeting will also be a public meeting.
I'm gonna let Adam answer that.
Yes, they will still be public.
Great, thank you.
And they will be 3 hours long, like all of our other board meetings. So if you guys want to keep hanging out with us as an attendee, you're all more than welcome. Tim?
So the comment where it says the board will review and provide feedback on the draft, will there be any options at that point to make any final changes, or is it just what would the feedback be used for?
Adam, you want to jump in?
Sure. Yeah, I think what that means is on the report itself, not on the draft of the actual code, Tim. So the executive committee will finalize the code language. There will be a report that is accompanying the code that will be drafted by the Lotus team and CEO, and then that's what will be provided for feedback and edits.
Thanks, Adam, for that clarification. Okay. Any final questions? Chris?
Hi, just quickly want to echo all of the sentiments. It's been amazing. And then also ask, do we have any, when are we getting back together? What is the timing for phase 2? I know it's a spring, summer 2025 deliverable, but do we have a sense for when reconvening starts and what that looks like?
And you're talking about the low energy and carbon code reconvening?
Correct.
Okay. I don't have the answer to that. Adam, Director Tor?
Yeah,
I'm
happy to jump in on that. So one of the key components, or I guess the low energy and carbon code, is a much more holistic energy code than what we've done here. So we're talking about inclusion of the IECC as well as, provisions relating to, these pre-wiring requirements, potentially other appendices to be added to that. And so that code will be much more holistic, but the statute does direct us to basically have either the 2021 or 2024 IECC as the base code for that energy code. And thus, I think it would be appropriate to at least have a general idea of what the final 2024 IECC is going to be before we really start diving heavily into that. So I'm thinking we haven't set final dates yet, but I would imagine that we're probably looking at late 2023, early 2024, depending on when we have a firm understanding of what that 2024 IECC will look like.
Thanks, Adam.
Great, thanks, Adam.
Sorry, Chris. Mo.
I'm for one thankful that we're not rushing quite into that yet. Let's take a little bit of breather to digest this. But my question is, out of you said 150 elements we just voted on, how many of them are going to the executive committee? Just to get an idea.
Mo, you're putting us on the spot to do a quick count. Let's see. So I don't know. Lotus, I'm guessing no one from Lotus tracked, huh?
Why don't we just do Mo? We can send a follow-up email to the
Okay.
Yeah, I tracked in the notes. I can try and do a quick count too.
Okay, thanks, Mo.
Thanks, guys. And once again, echo what everybody said. Thank you all. Really like Cody's comments too. Yes, the dreams tonight will be filled with the Google form. But it was really effective. It was incredibly effective. So an interesting tool to utilize. Tim, I'm going to keep that in mind for our technical advisory committee meetings.
Awesome. All right. Well, any final questions from the board? Any final thoughts? With that, I will say another huge thank you to you guys. Go enjoy the rest of your Fridays, and we will send you stuff via email.
Thanks again, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone have
Thanks,
a great
everyone.
weekend. Miss seeing you for a while.
I know. I'm going to miss you guys.